it's not always easy, they say, for great athletes or great fighters in this case to be coaches. Freddie, for example, he was a guy, good pro, but not a champion like you were, didn't fight at that level. And
right.
So why do you feel like you can have real success as a trainer? And are you taking it as a challenge like you did as a fighter almost? Like, I want to challenge myself to be a great trainer.
Absolutely, because I know there's never been a world champion Hall of Fame fighter to make 3 of their kids world champions, and so that's a goal. You know what I mean? There's been there's been 3. There's been 2 brothers that's been world champion. I think Marquez and his brother, and then the Klitschko's, but not 3. A world championship trainer of father. You know what I mean? So that's a goal, and so that's something that, God willing, it happens, and so we'll see. It's really up to the good Lord upstairs, and so, we were a family of faith, and instilled that in my kids, and all the success that's happened is because of God, and that's 110% truth. That's all I could ever tell to people when they ask me, why are you having all this success? Because I'm a server of the most mighty King, and that's Jesus Christ.
Do you have you ever talked to Robert and Big G about just?
I talked to my trainer that made Robert world champion, made me world champion, made Mikey world champion. I talk to him all the time. I talk to Robert too, but I talk to the Big G. Half of Big G raised me as a 12-year-old knucklehead, and to this day I have a relationship with him that I can call and ask advice, and he'll give me the best advice.
Would he even like if you needed him, hey, I need you to watch Emiliano, or give me any?
He watches the fights, and then he
gives you your input,
he calls
his
me
input,
and gives me his input.
That's awesome.
Amazing. He's an amazing human being, amazing man that God put in my life, and I'm just grateful to God that He put him in my life, because if not, my life would have gone totally a different way.
Just to go back to Robert, man, he's been a good trainer for a long time, since he had like Bam Bam Rios, but I feel like right now he's he's peaking, like he's better than even he was then as a trainer. Like, how happy are you for him?
Absolutely happy. I mean, to me, I see Robert as a family. You know what I mean? He's my compadre. He baptized Amado, my second son. So, we're compadres. I don't know how you say that in Spanish. Like, you guys are. I mean, in English, like, you guys are. We're like godfathers. That's what it is. But he has great success because he's a great trainer, but he learned everything from Big G. I to this day call my head Big G for advice as a man, as in boxing, and certain rounds that I needed to give my kids, and what not to give, and what to do and what not to do. So I come from that school, from the Garcia school. So Robert gets that schooling from my head Big G, but he's become an amazing trainer because of the kindness of my head Big G, I feel. And so, if we didn't have Garcia, then how would we be trainers? How would we be fighters? He trained Robert, he trained me, he trained Mikey, he made 3 world champions.
He's like the Bill Walsh. You guys are under the coaching tree.
Correct.
That's what they call it in football, coaching tree.
I don't watch.
He coached the Niners, Joe Montana.
Okay,
and
so
from him came Andy Reid, who coaches the Chiefs with Mahomes, and John Gruden, and like all these great coaches. They started underneath Bill Walsh, and then they all became great with their teams too.
I come from that schooling.
Yeah.
I'm from primero inteligente, luego valiente. First intelligent, Fernando, then you be brave, because you're gonna be brave anyways, because that's in your DNA. So. My jefe was Fernando, primero inteligente, luego valiente. First, you're going to be smart. And then if you have to be brave, you're gonna be brave because that's in your DNA anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I send my boys. I said, muchachos, primero inteligente, luego valiente. Guys, first intelligent, then you're gonna be brave.
If you have to be.
If you have to be.
Yeah. When it's time to let them hang.
Yeah, when it's time to let them hang. Everybody knows what I've done. And, you know, I've shown major balls, bull balls. You know, when I'm in defeat. And did I ever quit?
No.
No, thank you. That's not me. All right, thank you. That's all I gotta say.
And you, Mikey, and Robert, there's like a similar imprint that you were boxer punchers, right?
Yeah.
Like, not just come forward, pressure. Yeah.
If you say that I was a brawler, you're wrong. Because I was a boxer puncher. You know what I mean? My fights are, you know, Yorba Campos to become the youngest junior middleweight champion in boxing history. Boxing. Robert Marquez, boxing. Winky Ray, pressure, boxing. You know what I mean? So it's always been boxing that my effort, and Big G will tell me to primero inteligente, luego valiente first. So that's instilled in my mind that to this day I send my kids the same way.
Yeah, because when I was really impressed. Robert went head to head with Bozy a couple weeks ago because Bozy Ennis, Boots Ennis' dad, he had Andy Cruz, the Cuban fighter with the gold medal, and Raymond Morataya was from the IE and trained by Robert. He was so prepared, and it showed me how important the coaching was in the corner. No disrespect to Bozy, who's a hell of a coach too, but it made me realize just how elite Robert is right now at what he's doing. And
very smart, very intelligent. I hope to be that one day, and you know that's a goal. You want to be the best, and if the best is right now Robert Garcia, that's who I want to be like. If it could be anybody else too. If he was the best, if you know Eddie Reynoso was the best, I want to be like him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. And so you know, my hats off to my my effort Big G, and you know, my hats off to Robert for what he's doing and what he's done. And it's an amazing thing.
But just because I wanted to ask you, because he's got Virgil Ortiz, obviously Bozy Ennis has his son, Jaron Boots Ennis, and they're talking about maybe fighting in this year. Who do you think would win that fight, Fernando?
That's gonna be a tough fight. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be, you know, Boots Ennis is smart, you know what I mean, and but you know, Robert's fighter is also smart too, you know what I mean. So, I mean, it's gonna be a great fight, and you know, I'm always gonna side with Robert,
right?
Because he's my people, you know what I mean. But you know, and he's an amazing trainer, so that's what I'm going with.
You like Boots though?
Yeah, I like Boots, and he's very smart, very technical. He's very good.
He's exciting, man. Those Philly fighters, they're like Mexican fighters. They're with the smoke. They'll exchange.
They're
exchange.
down with their shit.
Yeah.
You know, for real. That's 110%, definitely.
And then